It's so hard to find a blade that is just as home in the backcountry on a camping trip as it is on the battlefield. I know what you mean. So many blades this year try to do that and just fall flat on their face. Wait a second, haven't I heard people talking about a Lionsteel blade that has that potential? Man, what was that? Oh yeah, the M5. They say it's like the Diavolo himself forged it in the fiery furnaces of the underworld. Whoa, I wouldn't go quite that far, but I remember now, it is pretty epic. But Diavolo himself may be in the details. What's up everybody, and welcome back to another blade review here at Gideon's Tactical. Today we are looking at the M5 from Lionsteel. And this has a pretty strong reputation as a possible crossover blade with some excellent attributes, but there could be a few details that I gotta hit with you that may hold it back a little bit. I'm gonna break it down with you today, running competitive options, and really have some fun with the M5. We gotta jump right in with the wickedest part of the blade, which is the actual blade, blade on blade. And guys, I gotta tell you, I don't know how a company can do what they're doing here, because what this has is a 3/16 0.18 thick spine all the way through, full contain construction. So it's built 8 ounces. So not overbuilt, but really well done. And it has a very high Saber grind. And however they're doing the edge geometry and just the overall shape, lends itself to be kind of mind-boggling in the outdoors. If you're looking for a knife, and we'll hit more of a utilitarian heavy-duty field knife roll here in a moment. If you're looking for a knife that is strong, because normally if it's sub 5 inches, which this is at 4.5 inches overall blade length, I would prefer a blade that's more around 0.16, which is 5/32, or even 1/8, depending on what I'm doing. 3/16 what I found usually means that it's kind of overly heavy for how small it is, and it tends to be a little thick behind the edge and just doesn't carve and do fine work quite what I like. Now, if you want the heavy duty just stabbing, cranking on it, more of a utilitarian roll, sure, then that makes total sense. Think of the Gerber strong arm. Think of a lot of other tools out there that are really designed as like tactical field knives. 3/16 totally makes sense. As a woodscraft, I prefer thinner is better. For some reason, this thing is bonkers in the outdoors. And I tried to find a problem with it, with the fine carving. Feather sticks was a dream, guys. Then I could go into like notching and making a spear and doing light hacking and doing all the stuff you're seeing here was just like buttery, smooth, and easy. It was kind of like it had been enchanted or something. I don't know. There's something going on with just the way that they did this that's very unusual from what I've experienced with 3/16 knives in this size range. And it outperforms most. And it's just the way that the edge as well as the grind are compatible with each other. And I really enjoyed that aspect and was really pleased with that. But then, if you go into more of a utilitarian role, what oftentimes happens if you are having, say, like an 1/8 or even sometimes a 5/32, 0.16 thick blade, it's just not quite as thick and you're a little more paranoid about being hard on it, stabbing, prying, digging through stuff, slashing, doing that stuff. But this has a very good, robust tip that's not overly thick and unusable in the outdoors, but still gives you a lot of strength for stabbing, but it will still penetrate very deeply. You can trust it to really get in there and not be paranoid with that Saber grind and 3/16 inch thick. You're like, wow, how is this being able to do a crossover and still, go through, say, like a seatbelt or, heavy duty nylon cordage, tubing and rubber and paracord, in regardless if you're in the outdoors or, using it in a field roll, whatever it may be, it's able to do both of those unusually well, which is really cool. I was really happy with that and very pleased with the way that they've done it. Now, this does currently have Sleipner steel on it. There are some, from what I understand, European exclusive distributors that do have a version of this in 3V. I would love to see that as a more standard across the board. That would be awesome. As it stands, Sleipner is still a great steel. I've now used it multiple times and I've been very impressed with it. It's rather easy to put an edge on it for being a more premium quote unquote steel. It's like a modified D2. So it's going to definitely hold its edge better than your 1095s and those type of blade steels. It's going to be more rust resistant as well. And I went with a smoke coating on this. You can get them satin, and I'm in extremely humid Pennsylvania right now. It's like unbearable. But there's no rust showing up on this, and it's a slick, you know, coating, wearing very well, very, very well. But you can get it satin as well if that is something that you want. So just excellent across the board in the way that this is performing on the blade side of things. Now I want to pause for just a moment to hit pricing with you. We will do competitive options momentarily, but I did want to share with you that first GP Knives did send this over to me to be able to test it, review it, give you guys pros, give you guys cons, and help you better understand what you're getting with the tool. And they have some of the best pricing on Lionsteel blades and on this knife. This model going for just under $160 currently in mid-2022. And with inflation prices, who knows where prices will go. And you can get certain versions as low as $140 currently over on GP Knives. So I will have links for you guys in the description box below throughout this video, not only for this, but the competitive options. If you want to check it out, go check out GP Knives. I buy a ton of my blades and just equipment through them because they often have it before a lot of other distributors in stock if you're wanting to get a brand new design, and they often have some of the best prices on the market. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look here at the handle and how does that compare to the blade when you want something that has crossover capability. So a knife with this capability, you don't want the handle to be too woodscrafty, meaning that yes, it's very comfortable, but it doesn't have a lot of tactile points to really keep you in place, but you don't want it overly grippy or overly traction so that it causes hot spots when you are using it in the bush for an extended period of time. You want this happy blending. Lionsteel executes it very well. What we got here on my version is my Micarta. Now you can get currently three different versions. You can get a wood handle version if you think you're going to use it more as like an outdoor knife, and we'll talk more about that, how it plays into other details in the devil and how he may be dancing upon them momentarily. But wood handles are an option. And G10 is also an option. So there are three different options, and prices will vary on them because of, you know, different price points for different materials in that way. So my Micarta, I think for me and how I use knives, is my favorite. And they have very slight ribbing on there, not hot or aggressive, but gives you just this nice tactile feel, just enough that I feel very ergonomic when I'm working with it with wood for a long period of time or something, but still grippy enough that if I have to use it more as a field knife, or if I was going to use it more like a field knife, it has that tactile feel. Then we have this really nice swoop in into the guard, but the guard is mostly contoured with the Micarta, which is excellent. So again, giving me a good lockup so that if I'm using it in a reverse grip, if I am using it to pierce and stab, I am locked in and I'm not going to accidentally slide up. But because they contoured it with Micarta compared to like a lot of other blades out there, Benchmade, this allows me to really contour well and feel comfortable and in control and not create a hot spot on my hand. The back spine, zero jimping, I don't think it's needed. They did give you just a slight little ramp. Again, thinking through giving you that lockup, but still giving you ergonomic capability. Fills out my large size hands so well. We do have an exposed pommel back here that you could use as non-lethal or in a hammering, you know, like hammering a tent peg, something like that. And does have that lanyard hole if you want to put a lanyard on there for like little wrist flicks and those type of things. Really got a good contouring, a little bit narrow around the neck, but then flares out, but not too narrow, bulges and then flares out with those really cool coned screws that don't create any hot spots and just feel really nice to the touch. And so I do believe they were able to execute that blending, which is somewhat difficult to do, of giving you all the traction you need, but not detracting from the ergonomic capability of using the tool for an extended period of time. All right, so here we go. Here's where the devil comes in and just kicks you straight on the enjoyment level on this blade. The version that I have comes with a Cordura nylon sheath. Now, for a nylon sheath, it's excellently executed. That's very good. I kind of hate nylon. In 2022, midsummer when I'm making this video, basically half of the versions or a part of the versions come with this nylon sheath, And then another portion of them come with a leather sheath. The leather sheath is very similar to what I have on my T5, and it is excellent. It's very good quality. I wish they would just get rid of this nylon altogether and really transition over to Kydex, and then in every version offer a Kydex or leather version would be excellent. And so what happens is basically, from what I can tell, certain, like the G10 version comes with the nylon. Now that'll help a little bit in price, I think. And as well as these smoke coated, because it's like more tactical or something, over the satin coated versions or satin blades. The satin ones tend to be currently leather. If you want to go with, like, and I wanted the smoke coating on it, you know, just kind of, it looks cool, but it also helps fight against rust. I'm stuck currently getting it with a nylon sheath from everything that I can tell. But if you go satin, and if you either go with wood handles, or depending on the version, you can get some of them in leather. So if it had come with a leather sheath, I would be using this a lot more. What ends up happening is this doesn't get used quite as often in this configuration. I'm gonna have to figure out a way. I might just, you know, have to get my hands on a second one and, you know, find an aftermarket leather sheath. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, or Kydex. And it's kind of a sin the way it's currently laid out with this nylon sheath. Obviously, I'm sure a ton of you are very curious about the T5. This is hard, guys. This is a very hard question. You know, like, which one would you go with? I would still argue that the T5 is a better, more like field knife. It's a little bit bigger, obviously. The handle is even bigger and fuller, more contoured. They're really close, and they're not going to be that different in pricing. This one came with an excellent leather sheath. This is what the leather sheath will look like if you do decide to go with that from Lionsteel on the M5. And look at that, on film, I may have just figured out my solution. This is a little too big for the knife, but hey, maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know, we'll find out. Anyway, definitely a little bit beefier tool. Got some 90s on there. It's so hard. You're really gonna I would say, if you're looking for more of a field focus, the T5, you know, combat, battle, front, you know, type of blade, more focused on woodscraft. It's just a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner, and a little bit more capable in that sense, but they're both very close in capability as well. Well, there you have it, guys. The M5 from Lionsteel, excellent, and depending on sheath options, well worth all of the hype that I've seen on this tool that you guys have been telling me about. This is one sick blade that has an amazing crossover capability that's very hard to execute. From what I'm finding, particularly in 2022, a lot of brands are trying to do it and they just fall flat on their face. And so this is done super, super well. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. What's your take on the M5? If you own one, what's been your experience? And just appreciate you guys coming and watching this video. I hope it's been fun and informative and giving you data so you can make a wise choice if the M5 is just evil enough and wicked enough to throw in your rotation or not. Appreciate you guys. Check out the other video popping up. Subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. Throwing up content like this every single week. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.